In this part of the program, we will make an examination of safe load handling techniques for lift truck operators. It will cover loads, how to engage them, how to travel with them, and the correct way to deploy them. Acquiring safe load handling techniques begins with a consideration of the load you want to move. Because not all loads are uniform in their weight, size, or packaging, it is important for you to inspect them. A close-up inspection can yield information that will help you decide what adjustments, if any, need to be made to the load before it is moved. Conditions that require adjustments are any that affect the load's stability. Some examples are a damaged pallet that needs replacement, a poorly balanced load that needs restacking, and loose loads that need to be rebundled. If you are ever in doubt about a load's condition or weight, don't try to move that load until it has been repaired and weighed. When you have made sure of the load's stability prior to engagement, check the truck's forks. For the best support, the fork should be at least 2/3 the length of the load and laterally adjusted for even spacing between the pallet stringers and maximum width. To engage, the truck should be square with the load. While maintaining the proper fork and load alignment, carefully move the truck forward until the load touches the face of the forks. Do not slam into loads. Next, raise the load high enough for removal while maintaining enough top clearance. Then, tilt the mast back slightly to cradle the load. Check behind you looking both ways. Sound your horn and carefully back out. Then, lower the load to a safe traveling height as soon as you are clear of the stack. Because not all loads are packaged on pallets, you may have to deal with large loose loads. Such applications will require you to exercise extreme caution while you are operating. When necessary, a backrest extension can be employed to help stabilize large loads. But the loads being moved should not exceed the height of the backrest extension. After lifting the load, the next part of your job is to deliver it, and the best opportunity you have for successfully doing that lies in your ability to safely transport it. It is very important for you to maintain control of the truck and load at all times. To aid in your control, travel with the load as low as possible. This position offers greater overall stability, is less likely to contact overhead obstructions, and affords you a better view. Never make an on-the-go change of direction when carrying a load. If your forward view is obscured, travel in reverse, except on ramps. Also, never grab the leg of the overhead guard with your hand as support. This practice exposes your fingers outside the operator's compartment and could cause a serious injury. Sound the horn or use a spotter when approaching a ramp entrance with a load on your truck. Once you are on the move, maintain a speed that allows for safe, controlled maneuvers. Turns, slowdowns, and stops should all be made smoothly and carefully. When approaching a sharp corner, slow down, sound the horn, and stay close to the inside corner. Start the turn when the inside drive wheel reaches the corner. Before turning into a narrow aisle, stay about a load length away from the entrance to the aisle. Start the turn early before reaching the middle of the aisle so that you are turning as far as possible from the stockpile or obstacle. Stay aware of other traffic, pedestrians, and other obstructions in your path. You should also exercise caution by slowing down whenever you encounter blind corners, sharp curves, ramps, dips, and wet or rough surfaces. Sound the horn when necessary. When approaching the stack or deployment location, never raise the load while traveling. Altering the load height affects the change in the truck's stability. In addition, never allow pedestrians or other traffic to move under a raised load. In an effort to give you greater control, some manufacturers have adopted an inching pedal to their lift truck design. This control allows the operator to creep the truck into position anytime an extremely slow maneuver is called for, while increasing lift speeds. Do not ride with your foot on the inching pedal, as it can cause premature brake and transmission failure. Also, never use the inching pedal as a brake. Load deployment is the last part of the lift truck operator's pickup and delivery cycle. For a simple deployment, such as placing a load on the floor, move the load over the desired unloading point. Tilt the mast forward to the vertical position and lower the load slowly. Check for traffic behind you, sound your horn, and carefully back away to disengage the forks. When you are stacking a load, approach the unloading point and position your truck with a load down and stop. Tilt the mast forward until vertical and then raise the load until it is even with the stacking level. Next, slowly move the truck forward until you are within a foot of the stack and stop. Now, raise the load to 6 or 8 inches above the stacking level and creep forward, moving the load over the unloading point while maintaining the proper stacking alignment. When you have the load in position, lower it slowly and squarely on the stack below. Follow this by first checking behind you both ways for clearance and pedestrians or other lift trucks. Sound your horn and back away to disengage the load, and make sure to stop to lower the carriage to a safe traveling level. Make sure that when you lower a load onto its support that you don't over-lower the mast. By over-lowering the mast, you allow the forks to be supported by whatever is below them. This, in turn, puts unnecessary slack in the lift chain. If this situation remains unchecked, when you back away from the stack, the forks will drag over the support beneath them and fall until the slack in the lift chain is expended. As you might imagine, an incident like this has the potential for creating expensive damages to products and equipment. If you discover the load isn't where you want it or needs adjustment, don't shove it around with the forks. Pick up the load and reposition it. At times, lift trucks are used to perform overhead maintenance. This is accomplished by affixing a platform to the forks that allow workers to be raised and held in the necessary overhead position. If you are the operator on a job like this, make sure that a platform built in conformance with OSHA regulations is being used and that it is properly secured to the truck's forks. Never allow anyone to ride on or be raised on the truck's forks. 12% of all injuries and fatalities are due to personal falling from elevated forks. For obvious reasons, operations that involve raised platforms require the utmost in communication and cooperation from all those involved. After safely raising the platform into position, your job as an operator continues. You must remain at the truck's controls as long as workers remain on the raised platform, and the truck should never be moved with the workers on the platform. The information in this program, the various operators' manuals, and safety publications, your lift truck driving instructor, and your future supervisors are there for you as they have been for other operators. Yet, in spite of training and the availability of such information, one accident seems to regularly plague lift truck operators. It leads all other accidents and fatalities. It is called a tip-over. Tip-over accidents can happen in a number of ways. Sharp turns, braking abruptly, excessive speed, potholes, overhead obstructions, raised masts, overloading, unstable loads, uneven or wet surfaces, driving on ramps, low tire pressure on pneumatic lift truck tires are all causes of trucks tip-overs. Of course, the best way to stay out of a tip-over is to prevent it from happening by adhering to accepted safety guidelines and driving procedures. If, however, you are involved in a tip-over, don't jump. Stay with the truck. The truck's operator restraint system is designed to protect you in such an event. Rely on it and use this survival technique. Hold on tightly to the steering wheel, brace your feet on the floor, and lean forward and away from the fall. The overhead guard is not a rollover device. It only reduces the risk of material falling on the operator's head. Nothing to do with the protection in a tip-over. Statistics show that tip-over fatalities usually occur when the operator is not wearing a seatbelt or has attempted to jump clear of a falling truck. In a twist of cruel irony, they are often crushed to death by the truck frame and overhead guard that was designed to protect them. This is the end of Part 5. Please review the information you have been given and complete Part 5 in your workbook. When you are done, resume your training with Part 6 of this program.